Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where I talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the season finale of Into the Badlands. A great season finale. So much amazing stuff went down. We're going to break everything down bit by bit. First of all, Sunny and MK did not see that being like right there at the beginning of the episode. It's like, yo, MK locks eyes with Sunny, goes over to Sunny, is like, give him the baby. What? Give him the baby. And he hands it to Baji, and it turns into a fight. Sick ass fight. Like, dude, MK's not holding any punches back. Like, he's pissed, and Sunny doesn't know why, because obviously last time him and MK saw each other was like basically 6 months ago, before he went to go get Vale at the end of season 2. So obviously, like, he's like, I'm sorry I never, like, it isn't coming in later on. He's like, I'm sorry I never came back for it, because he thought that's what, like, MK was so pissed about, which I'm sure that bothered him a little bit too. If it wasn't for the other information he found out, I don't think that would bother him as much, because Sunny did come back for him in season 2. Sunny tracked him down, found him. So there's that. But also because, he would have understood. It's like, yeah, you're with your family and stuff like that. Like I said, I still get the feeling like it would have bothered him, because it's like, in all that time, he never came back for me. But to be fair, he was with Henry alone too, so that was the whole thing. But nevertheless, I'm going on a tangent. But it's like, man, MK started going hard, even activating his ability. But I'll admit, and I think this is pretty badass, Sunny kept up pretty good. I guess the argument could be made because MK is still kind of new at this whole thing. He's not fully, like, maybe being an adult does affect that. Like, you are stronger as an adult. I mean, to be fair, they handled their own against the Abbotts and stuff like that, but that's the last time Sunny's went up against a Dark One. But I felt like against MK, and he wasn't even fighting seriously either. Like, he held his own against MK. He had the upper hand a lot of the times, but then MK got the upper hand and started beating the crap out of him. I was like, dude, I was like, that sucks. Because even, like I said, once again, Sunny doesn't even know why you're beating the crap out of him for. But then you have Pilgrim come up and stop him. So that was really interesting. Like, kind of going back to it was kind of like the whole MK situation about him, you know, explaining to Sunny what happened. But for Sunny, it's like, yeah, like, I did terrible things back then. Like, the fact of the matter is, I worked for Quinn. It's not like I really need to be forgiven. But the fact of the matter is, everything he's doing right now isn't about him. It's about his son. Even asking her the question of, like, what should I trust Pilgrim? Nyx was there and she never said anything. But, like, you know, all MK said was, like, oh, stuff that Pilgrim says does come true, good and bad. Not once did the conversation go, oh yeah, let's not forget the last Dark One that he was with, he snapped her neck. You know, so, I mean, I was surprised Nyx didn't say anything. She kind of had a look on her face, kind of like she was worried. So, you know, because I'm sure she doesn't want, would want Henry to kind of carry the burden of becoming, you know, similar to in their situation too, because I'm sure I was kind of certain that that's the direction they were going to go anyway. I know I'm bouncing around, but I was so certain it was like, oh, you're going to take, you would want Henry, because it's like, I mean, getting around to it, we end up finding out what this is all about. The chamber they found, like this ultimate weapon, it is basically what I thought it was. Basically, Pilgrim and Sunny basically are brothers. They grew up in Azure, not bloodline brothers, but because of who they are, it's almost like we had the potential of being gods. And it's basically what I thought. It's like, Sunny being the catalyst means that basically they can make anyone a Dark One if they feel it, because basically within him, I guess he has the genetic code basically to make Dark Ones. I guess when activating the device, like, I guess it's more so like who he is, like being the catalyst. Maybe when he touched the device, it kind of transferred all the stuff in him into the device, so making it possible to pass it on to anyone else that touches it. So maybe that's kind of, but I thought as much. And Pilgrim, like, activates, like, in his mind, he can control the gift, and he's the only one of his kind, because he himself is special. I guess it even puts even the Master Edition, because the Master can, like, dim the ability, but not to the extent that he can just completely shutting it down. And so it seems like not only can he shut it down, it seems like he can warp the ability. So it seems like that's what this is all about. And Baji is super against this. He has been from the very beginning, especially because he figured out what this was all about, because he was able to read the words of Azura. Because for him, he doesn't believe in all of this anymore. And Baji kind of, I'm sure even more motivation for this is, but Baji's the reason this all got set in motion, because he was the one that sent out the signal flare. Because that's why they thought it was coming from Sunny. I didn't even think about that, because I guess Sunny and Pilgrim are the only ones with those watches. They were special because those two are special. So that signal being sent was like, oh my God, because that was all because of Sunny's like watch compass thing, and it's like, oh, so that was their son, that's Sonny. Like, so I wonder, did he know that Sonny was a catalyst or not? I mean, I assumed. I mean, that's what this has all been about, because now they can create an army of Dark Ones, anyone into a Dark Ones if they deemed them necessary. But it also seems like they can also take away abilities too, which is definitely going to be interesting. Like, Minerva kind of wanted her abilities back. Baji could end up getting his back. I wonder, is it completely impossible for Sonny to get his? We also learned about his sister, Kaden. We don't know, but like, part of me started wondering. I highly doubt it. No, it can't be. I was thinking something like during the episode, like, I'll just tell you, like, I was thinking something stupid like the Master might be a sister, but it's like, no, that can't be. The Master's like super old, so there's no way that's possible. I mean, not unless she became the Master before, like, you know, Sonny came about. Like, I would assume, like, it's probably like his biological sister. It's not just like him and Pilgrim being brothers. It's probably more like, no, like, that Kaden, she's actually Sonny's biological sister, but who knows? But it's just a crazy situation, because now, like, because Sonny ended up turning on Baji, who's trying to destroy this thing, because he knows what this could mean. Because it turns out we finally got an answer to why the world went to shit, is because they couldn't control Dark Ones back then. They came across this power years ago and they couldn't control it, but with Pilgrim they can. So now we kind of find out a little bit about where Dark Ones, we still don't 100% know where the power originates, but we kind of have a better idea of why the world ended up the way it did. And I guess, like, all those people who were Dark Ones back then passed it down in their family generation. So, like, years and years ago, like, one of MK's ancestors was one too. So, but it turns out Black Lotus attacked Azura, so that's why they're on their journey to find a new Azura, because their original Azura was destroyed by them, the Black Lotus. Like, what? And it's so interesting because it's an enemy that, because I think this season finale did a fantastic job. Like, this whole season did a great job setting up future antagonists, like the Black Lotus. We literally know nothing about him. We just got introduced in the last episode. Now we've got Pilgrim in this whole situation. Because the sad thing is, because Sonny, it's like, I need this, because there's no other way. Like, Henry will die if this continues. I don't know, because I'm kind of bouncing around here, but, like, let's not forget, like, I think because of that, like, I think because Henry had a gift at such a young age, it's like no one's had, so that must mean Henry's gift is that strong. Now that Pilgrim potentially has it, that's what I'm wondering about. Like, when Pilgrim has ability at the very end, the final scene, is that him getting it Henry's ability, giving him, like, the strongest Dark One ability, or is he getting a combination of Henry's ability plus what's in Sonny, the kind of the catalyst? So, like, all that is Dark Ones kind of resonate in him. Is he like God level, like, Dark One? I mean, because it seems like that's kind of the whole point, to make them gods. But I'm wondering, like, can the same thing happen in, like, Sonny? Like, being a catalyst, can he access that power? I mean, it's there in him, hence why Henry has it. But then again, that goes back to the catalyst thing. Like, it's written in his DNA. It's probably one of those things, like, he's a carrier of a virus. He can't benefit from it himself personally, but he can pass it on to other people, hence why he was able to pass it on to Henry. So I don't know. I mean, that also, and it's interesting enough to think about too, is like, it hasn't ever come up, but it's like, if he ever had other kids, that would actually be a concern. They would easily gain this ability too. So I was kind of hoping, like, really quickly, I'm kind of going back, but I was kind of hoping when MK stopped at the end, I was like, oh man, he feels guilt. Oh, it's like, no, it's Pilgrim stop, because it's such a shame. Like, Sonny's done a lot of terrible things that he regrets, you know that, but I guess it's just this circumstance is different, because it's kind of like, it was my mom, you know, and it's just kind of sad that things kind of went down that route, you know. But getting back to it, it's like, it's sad for Sonny, because it's like, he did this for his son. It's like, you know, you basically set forth a war all on its own. Kind of like jumping around, you had the whole situation. Obviously Gaius and Minerva and Tilda going to take down Chow, but you also have the whole situation of, like, Lydia and Nate, which, once again, you always gotta give props to Lydia. Lydia is no idiot. She's always thinking one move ahead. She's like, I'm going to be out in the battlefield just in case something does happen to the widow. Then the fact of the matter is, the army needs to see that, hey, I was out there, kind of their new God, I'm blanking, Baron, God, I don't know why I was slipping on the word so hard. Their new Baron was on the battlefield, so she kind of earned the respect even more. And even Nate's kind of like, wow, that's impressive. You were literally already thinking about tomorrow. But so she goes out on the battlefield with Nate, which, can we give major props to Nate for kicking ass, single-handedly taking down so many people, got an arrow in the shoulder. You could tell he's getting worn out. just slashing through people. And then you had that thing at the end. I was like, oh man, this might be where Nate dies. I was like, come on, Lydia. Like, he told you to stay back and everything, but please save him. I was like, oh, no, 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 no. I was like, no. And it's like, yes, he's still alive because Lydia saved him. Interesting enough, with the same crossbow that Minerva gave her, which was actually a gift from her husband. And I like that line of her and Lydia and Minerva being like, yeah, we basically have to clean up our husband's messes. It's like, yeah. Like, if they weren't such shitty people, we wouldn't be in this situation in the first place, you know? But it looks like on the front lines, they were kind of able to win. They were able to push back. Chow's people was like, a lot of people died. That battlefield was murky, dirty, and filled with so much blood. It's dirty, too, but it's just kind of like, there's a lot of blood on that battlefield, so... But it seems like Lydia was hurt too. It's like, please don't let me die. It's like, no, Lydia's far from done. It's going to be interesting considering what happens. Like, obviously, Minerva, Tilda, and Gaius get there. He didn't want her to get mixed up in all of this, but Minerva's like, if a cause is just behind one person, the cause should be more than just her. So if it just follows one person, if it falls apart by one person, then it was like, you know, it's meant to fall apart if it just follows one person. It's like, no, this is something that it can go on even without her. So Tilda and guys have her back, which is so interesting. I'm like, we don't tackle it too much, but I'm very interested to see what that happens going forward. Tilda and Minerva's relationship. Also, like, what about Odessa? Like, we have not seen her since she left. I mean, she's like gone potentially, so that kind of sucks for Tilda. But it's kind of interesting. Going toe to toe with Chow. Like, no matter what, Chow is somewhat skilled. I still don't like. She couldn't outright beat Minerva in a fair fight. Like, hence why she had those guards and everything like that. And I was like, oh man, is this about to be the end of Minerva? All those arrow fires, like, ugh. I was like, wait a minute. And all the arrows stopped. I was like, wait a minute, are we getting, I was like, because I was thinking in the back of my head, I was like, oh, because that device activated, I was thinking like everyone who's had a gift that's like deep in it, I was like, oh my god, Minerva's ability is about to kick in or something. And every time stopped, I was like, what the hell was that? It's like, is that because of that, them activating that machine? All the arrows reversed and hit everyone. I was like, what the hell was that? Out walks the freaking master, which I should have brought it up. Obviously, she was like the first thing that pops up in the episode. And the moment she popped up, I was like, I've literally been asking about you all season. We have not seen her since Baji and MK went to get what they needed to cure Sunny, like last season. That's the last time we've seen the master. We haven't subsequently seen her since. So I was like, holy crap. And even she's like, Minerva, it's been a while. It's like, yo, we got to put aside this petty war of yours because an even greater battle is coming. And she knocks Minerva out, which lo and behold, Chow is still alive. So that's definitely going to be interesting. So I guess we have Minerva kind of getting kidnapped again, which is kind of interesting. I mean, when you actually think about it, it's kind of funny because she held MK for captive. And it's like, well, MK literally was in that same situation in season 1. I'm curious about the other abbots. I mean, she actually came here by herself. I think that speaks volumes in itself. Like, she didn't bring any of the abbots. It's just like, no, she handled that all by herself. Once again, Chow's not dead. I mean, to be fair, guys could come in and kill her. I mean, him and like Tilda might run away because like at them, because I'm sure that was the master knocking her out. The master might be able to reactivate her gift. She might kind of have something borderlining because it seems like she's connected to this whole situation with the same thing. Like, she might be the same thing as Pilgrim. She can give and take away ability or control it. She's kind of shown herself to be able to do it, but I feel like it's not to the same extent that Pilgrim is able to do it. So, I don't know, man. That's correct. Like I said, just like setting up like this group to be like, oh, we're about to have an even bigger problem coming to the Badlands with Pilgrim and his people. So the master is getting ready for this battle and she needs Minerva like to get ready for it. So I don't know if she's going to reactivate her gift or what, but now Minerva's getting pulled away from this. I'm sure Lydia's going to have to step up in Minerva's absence. I'm sure Gaius and Tilda are going to be looking for her. We might have kind of something similar to that going forward. But like I said, a crazy good, great season finale. At the time I'm recording this, I am not sure if the show is coming back for a 4th season. I'm really hoping it is, because I'm so interested to see where this goes, because the Badlands has been the battlefield for like this battle between like Minerva and Chow, but now that seems like that's potentially winding out. Like I said, we still could potentially see like Lydia taking over with Nate by her side, running things, you know, because she has her own way of operating things, so we could be seeing that. I mean, that could be also a problem too, where it's like, oh yeah, like Lydia might get caught up in the whole power thing, but it seems like she kind of has the best of intentions, but it's like, hell is paved with those, so you never know with that thing. So, I mean, I'm curious to see what Lydia would make. I mean, because she has shown herself to be a very tactical person. It's like, for her, it's like, yeah, she was there for Quinn and stuff like that, so it's like, she's like the best around. She can put most people to shame with how good she is tactically. I'm also curious about another character, Waldo. Like, obviously we saw a younger version of him this season, but it's like, we have not seen him since season 2, since he kind of left this all behind. We might see him potentially return in the future, just like I said, when the Badlands kind of go to hell. So, like I said, also, like, maybe the Black Lotus isn't as bad as we think they are. Maybe that's what they are. Maybe they're supposed to be guardians existing to make sure that something like this doesn't happen. Maybe that's why they went after Sunny, why they're willing to kill anyone for it, because they know what, like, Pilgrim and Sunny coming together, like this new Azura, what it would mean, that it would mean the destruction. Literally, the last time this happened, it led to the destruction of the modern world, leading the world to be what it is in the show. So, who's to say, like, you know, things won't be even worse? There's going to be a lot more bloodshed, like probably like this war between Minerva and Zhao will probably be nothing compared to like what's going to happen with Pilgrim, because like you'll have full-blown monsters. I'd also assume like the Black Lotus would have some means of countering like Dark Ones in some shape or form. So, and with the Master's return, it also makes you wonder like about other things, like will we see more of Ankara when will she kind of pop up to be like, yo, like, you know, especially with what's to come. She seems to be more inclined with what's to come. I mean, she is the Mad Witch and everything, but maybe for her, it's kind of that situation of like, oh yeah, because it seems like that is the purpose of this whole thing of like cleansing the world. Is like, oh, we'll rule as gods and cleanse this world to make it good again. It seems like that's the path. But like I said, I don't know. It depends on if like the Black Lotus are trying to take advantage of this themselves, or they're trying to prevent the destruction of the world. You know, I doubt Sunny's going to stick by them. I mean, like, I'm sure in the end it's going to be kind of Sunny's fault, but at the same time, probably MK's too for not warning about this. Like MK thinks he's on, because it, like for Sunny, it's like he doesn't want MK to end up like him. And he's like, I'm not your cult anymore. Stop treating me like I am. Like, don't try. But in fact, the matter is he cares about you. Like, and the sad thing is just his need for revenge overshadows him. And it's just kind of like, we know where vengeance kind of leads you. Like, that does not always work out. So I'm curious to see what that means going forward. You know, what part him and Nyx would play going forward. Like I said, will she warn Sunny about like, yo, so the last person who got mixed up in all of this, Pilgrim snapped his neck. Also, like, what does it mean going forward for Pilgrim? Will he be exactly the same person? Will it be a little different now that he's fully accessed this power? Like I said, it's so interesting because he's always kind of given way to other Dark Ones, obviously Castor and Nyx being an example, but now he doesn't need that anymore. Like I said, depends on his whole situation, whether he's like super buff, super strong, like Dark One type of situation. So it definitely seems like the type of thing where it's like going forward, we'd see a lot of enemies turn to being allies. So then there's also the situation about where is Sunny's sister, Kaden. I'm kind of like, there's a part of my brain like, you don't think she's actually with Black Lotus or something like that. Like, obviously, like, like I said, that could have been his sister, you know. I mean, because interestingly enough, once again, let's not forget, Sunny and the Master have never met. Like I said, I don't think that's his sister, but it was crossed my mind to think that. Like I said, she'd have to be like she's so much older, but like I said, like depends on whether they're going like a biological thing or not. Because whoever it was that saved Sunny from like the River King's boat was like much taller than him. But the girl that was beside him in the picture, like I assumed like last episode was his sister. I didn't remember if I was really paying attention to the name or not or anything. So that girl standing beside him might not have been his sister. Like he does have an older sister. So who's to say? Like I said, I kind of get the inkling that might not be the case. I don't know. We'll kind of see what that ends up being, especially if his sister does know the secrets of all of this. Like, maybe that's why she potentially joined the Black Lotus. Hell, she might even be a prisoner to the Black Lotus. Something I was just sitting here thinking about, too, is like, learning to control the Dark One ability is a little kind of out there. I mean, to be fair, once again, Pilgrim can change it, so maybe how it operates works differently too. I mean, I'm curious about why is it that the whole cutting needs to happen thing. I mean, obviously you can grow past it. Obviously, like people have shown kicking in their ability without having to cut themselves. But like, I'm curious, like why that specifically triggers that. I mean, like I said, once again, we still don't know what exactly that is. Like, was this like a science experiment kind of going wrong that gave birth to this? Like what the whole thing behind that is? Like, was this like power pulled from a demon or something? Like, which is it more fantasy? Is it more science fiction? I kind of lean towards it being more man-made, this whole like Dark One situation. But like the point I'm getting across, like if you give this ability to a whole bunch of people, it's like you're gonna have a whole bunch of like legitimate killing machines on. I mean, to be fair, once again, Pilgrim does have more control of them, so that's not something you have to worry about. But it is, I mean, it also turns into the caster situation of like it would burn people out more and more, like the whole cutting themselves like that. Like once again, I was under the impression like it would kill you regardless. But once again, like the way MK was talking about it seemed more like no, as long as you learn how to control it without cutting yourself, because cutting yourself is kind of you forcing the ability to come to the top rather than you just summoning it of your own will, and forcing it to the top kind of kills you more because it drains your own life force to use it. Best nerdy example I can use is like Luffy's second gear. When he originally started using that technique, it was actually killing him because it put too much of a strain on his body. So maybe the same thing happened, but after doing some training and stuff like that, it's no longer an issue potentially. Not that it's really come up that it's been an issue anymore. So maybe it's kind of something similar to that. But once again, maybe that's something that's completely gotten rid of by the time like Pilgrim's kind of sunk his teeth into the whole situation, kind of leads an army of them. So like that's just some of my thoughts. So I don't know. Like I said, I am hoping it comes back for a fourth season because I'd love to see like this world and this story expand even further. And hopefully next season's a little bit longer too. So hopefully that too. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this episode. Until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, enjoy it. Good day and good